Ever wanted to travel the world? So we've just, I'm with Nomadic Samuel, and he runs a travel blog.
I do.
We've just had a fantastic Korean barbecue.
Oh, it's just delicious.
And
Polished
Samuel, you were telling me before that you're now earning anything from $2,000 to $6,000 a month from your travel blog.
Right. Just, I'm still pinching myself over that. It's been amazing. Yeah, just the entire process. I wasn't expecting to be earning this much at this point in the game. I've only been blogging for 11 months now.
Wow.
And it's just blown me away.
So what are your tips for people who want to get into doing travel blogs or even travel video blogs?
Right.
What are your tips?
Well, one of my biggest tips is really when you start a blog is to be as consistent as you possibly can with your postings, with your scheduled postings. If you have a blog, I've noticed the most successful blogs out there or travel sites, whether they be YouTube or their own personal blog, their own personal site, is what they tend to be doing is they have a consistent schedule of posting. They're making their 3 or 4 posts a week, whatever it may be, they post daily. They're really doing that. They're networking with others. They're really promoting other people's work. It's not just all about them, their own site. They're networking with other people within the travel-related industry, with other travel bloggers. They're networking outside of that industry. They're always trying to find a new audience, and they're always promoting other people's work.
So it sounds as though you're spending maybe half your time doing the content, and then half your time actually marketing.
It sure is that way. It's not as glamorous as you might think. It's not just throwing the photos up, making the videos. It's a lot of it is building networking, building relationships, building links back to your site. A lot of it is the behind-the-scenes work.
So that's pretty much how it works. For people who set up a blog, you need to be getting links, quality links, back to your site to get it climbing up the ranks. And when that happens, as you told me before, advertisers contact you.
They find you. They have certain search terms they're looking for. They find your site. They may notice your site from comments you make on other blogs. They may notice your site, and what they're going to do is they're going to run an evaluation of their site. They're going to see how strong your site's link profile is. If you have a strong link profile, if you're producing content, if you have a good social media presence, they're gonna want to advertise on your site, and they're going to give you good money for it.
So you're making most of your income from advertisers contacting you, and advertising specific deals on your website. So it's not so much your AdSense, but you're getting most of your income from...
A lot of it is private deals that I'm making with these other people. So it's great. And what I've been doing is networking with other bloggers. We exchange contacts. So I could be having a really slow week. I talk to a few of my friends, send them an email. They send me referrals, I send them referrals. So a lot of it is building your networks. You get contacted naturally, and then it's a bit of a snowball effect. Once you get your name out there, I've found that I've honestly haven't had to be proactive. I haven't had to be contacting advertisers. They've been contacting me. And
so what companies are we talking about? What industries?
Right, we're talking mainly about industries related to the hotel, tourism, flights, cruises, that kind of thing. Travel insurance.
And so when they're contacting you, say I'm a blogger and someone contacts me and they say, hey, listen, Mark, we want to advertise on your website on a monthly basis for the next year. What sort of money do you for someone who's starting off? What would you suggest they ask for?
What I actually suggest for people that just start a blog is potentially holding off a little bit, because if you sell right away, you might be undercutting yourself. You might be selling at a rate that is well below what your site is going to be worth, say, 6 months later. So what I actually suggest at first is to hold off for a while. But once your site reaches a certain level, once, say, you have what's called a page rank, when your site has a certain link profile, once you have a page rank of a certain, maybe a page rank of 3, 4, or 5, that's really when you can start making money. And you could be looking at, for things such as on your sidebar, on your footer, links to these companies, you could be looking at anywhere between $30 to $100 a month. But when they're paying at the higher end, that would be for banners and widget placements. So that would be taking up a considerable amount of space on your site. So they are paying for that territory. If it's just a small little link, then they're going to pay you less money.
So essentially maybe $1,200 for one company.
That's right.
$1,200
if you had a recent deal I did on 2 sites. I have 2 sites now that I'm especially making money off of. and I put 2 links on my flagship site, 2 links on my other site, and that deal alone was worth $2,000 for the year.
Wow, and that's another thing you do. You have your main site, Nomadic Samuel, but you also have other sites. Now, now what's the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning behind that is you have your flagship site, and that's really where you gain your audience. You gain your audience not only with fans, people following your blogs, but you also gain your audience with advertisers. And what you can do is when you make a deal on say your flagship site, then you can look at your smaller sites, perhaps your niche sites, your static sites, your other sites, and you can say, well, okay, let's cut out a deal with the flagship site, but also have site XYZ. Would you be interested in those? And so instead of making just one deal, you could potentially be making 3 or 4, and that's really.
And they're happy to do that because there's links to these static sites that build them up in the search engine too.
That helps them out, and they think that because you're running a credible site, that you know what you're doing with these other sites, so they trust you. They trust you more because you have one very successful site. The other sites, they think, well, you know what you're doing. It's a worthwhile investment for them.
All right.
Yeah.
So summing up, to get your website out there, you have to build links.
You do.
To build links, you have to build relationships.
Right.
Within the industry, with other travel bloggers, but also outside the industry.
Right.
And other.
Yeah, one more thing I would suggest is whatever resources you have, really try to utilize them to the best of your ability. If you have a lot of photos, if you have a lot of videos, get them up there on YouTube, Flickr, SmugMug, Vimeo, other sites such as this, and put your link in back to your site. These links are considered no follow, but what they actually do is these are very trusted sources, and over time, these links pass a lot of juice back to your site, and they make your site stronger in terms of an advertising perspective. Also, in terms of a search engine perspective, your site will rank higher for terms that people are searching for.
And that's what I found interesting when you mentioned before. We were talking about Samuel's videos. You're not, at the moment, you're not so fussed about making money on YouTube with your videos. You're seeing it more as a way to build your website up in search.
So I have a massive amount of photos, and so what I'm doing is I'm creating a lot of slideshow videos. They're not time consuming. I can put up 20 photos, put little transitions in between the slide, throw up a song on there, and from that put up my links to all my sites. And that might just take me 5 minutes to do, and I've built a bunch of links to my sites. Not only that, but I'm also promoting my brand. People see the Nomadic Samuel. I put a title and a closing credit, and so people. It's sort of a way of. I almost view it as almost a little bit of a commercial to my website, and you're investing in yourself by doing that.
So at the moment, you're teaching in Korea with your girlfriend.
I am.
You're looking at taking off very soon. Can you tell us what you got planned?
Oh, we've got a massive trip planned. We're going to be doing an around the world trip. We're going to be starting off in Asia, in Southeast Asia. We have plans to spend a considerable amount of time in India, a country we both love. And then from there, we're thinking potentially South America, doing an overland trip across the Americas.
Wow.
Maybe over to Europe, and then maybe possibly overland all the way back to Asia. Maybe it's going to be incredible.
And the great thing is, you actually got your website to a situation where you're earning nearly $1,000 US a week in some months.
In some months.
So you're killing it. You're all ready to go.
Yeah, I am. Hopefully, we'll be spending a lot. We'll be saving a lot more than we spend. So we'll be saving while we travel. That's the goal.
So Samuel's from a writing and photography background. He started doing some videos. Here's his YouTube channel. Samuel,
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
It's been a pleasure.